days of Ramadan, lectures, worship, ibadah, alhamdulillah, a'mal together, may Allah inshallah accept it from all of us. The ayat of Quran and our traditions are encouraging us to do certain a'mal and actions in order to elevate our rank, our iman, ourselves, our capacity, our understanding of this world. When you look at yourself, you see that sometimes you go through your notes that you had it 10 years ago, and you looked at it and said, wow, that was not, why did I talk that way? Shouldn't have said this way. You understand your mistakes by looking back. What changed you? Your rank is different. You're in a higher level and different level right now. You're improving yourself. The mistake that you were doing before, you were not supposed to do now. Because you're changing, you're improving, inshallah. You're going to the next level. Ayat of Quran is telling us this, that you should raise yourself. You should go to the next level. One of those important aspects that have been recommended a lot to our traditions, and even Ayat of Quran mentioned a lot, that can help you to control yourself, your desires and legitimate desires that you have, to control yourself and get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the topic of iffah and haya, the topic of chastity and modesty, which we don't usually talk about these things that often, unfortunately. The topic that, again, when Allah created us, He made us, we're made of different pieces. Each piece of our soul and our nafs is related to one part of our improvement and our life. Okay? One of the most important parts of ourselves is the topic of observing chastity and modesty in life, ourselves and towards others. But how is it related to the topic that said, raise yourself, go to the next level in a different rank? Hadith man'oon from Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Man lam ya'ti nafsahu shahwataha asaba rushdah. The one who controls himself or herself, do not give to their nafs whatever the nafs is requesting, asaba rushdah, would reach rushd and progress, improvement. When it comes to the prophets, some of the prophets of Quran says, they reached to the level of rushd, that they were mature, they were prophets. That's what we want. We want ourselves to become more mature, right? One of the measurement, mi'yar, that this hadith is giving is what? Those who have control over the nafs. What will happen is that asaba rushda, they will be improved. They will progress, these people. So, the iffah and haya, which has many aspects, and inshallah we'll talk about this, it's not necessarily for Islam. It is the background behind any progress that we should have in our daily life. Pay attention. Any progress, specifically spiritual and ruhi progress that you want to have, you need to have these two components. These are the prerequisites that someone who wants to be Muslim and Muslimah, they need to have these two. We're going to talk why we're saying this. And Islam goes, and all religions are talking about this. And to a certain level, it's not about the religions. It's as human beings, we need to observe chastity and haya. Allah created somehow even our body, that for a certain time, I don't want to go to the details, the chastity and the haya of and the modesty of physical aspects of your life would not let you do certain things that you should do in private in front of others. The chastity is not even related to Islam or religion or anything. Animals, they might go, God forbid, I'm sorry about that, I'm putting it this way, they might go to the bathroom anywhere that they can find, right? They don't even care about these things. Human beings, regardless of religiosity, although some animals are more respectable, they observe where they do it, right? So, but Islam goes to the next level and says what? The chastity and modesty is not only for the society. Because as soon as I say haya, iffat, chastity and modesty, I know what it comes to your mind. First, you go to a woman only, chastity and modesty belongs to a woman. Second, you go to the society, right? So outside. No, Islam is talking about in the private time that you're all alone with yourself, you need to observe chastity and modesty. This is next level. Not only that, in the most private aspects of your life, which is your mind, your fiqh, your mind, you should observe chastity and modesty. You should not let your mind go somewhere that is against chastity and modesty. To this level, only Islam enters and talks to us about this. That says, if you don't start from here, you can't control it outside. If someone has haya and chastity, wherever they are, whatever they do, they will keep it outside in front of others as well. Haya. I remember when we were in Jose, we were studying, they were telling us we could not even lay down in front of the books that we had. Because it has the asma of Allah and everything. You should not even raise your leg in front of your books. It's like Quran, not even Quran is for sure, you know. The other books, academic books we had in Hawza, you should respect them. You have haya of yourself, right? We have haya that, you know, we'll talk more about this, the haya that never try to be all naked without any reason. Without any reason. Even you're alone with yourself. Don't try to be all naked without any reason. Shaitan is there. Shaitan is there, right? Anyhow, the most private part of our time and our life should be it. And it's about men and women, both of them. Men, they should have haya and chastity and modesty. Women should have haya and chastity and modesty as well. Both men and women. We'll talk more about this. We said if someone doesn't have this too, doesn't have the main ground, the first prerequisite is to go to the next level. What we're saying, Hadith man saying, La haya liman la deen. The one who doesn't have haya doesn't have deen. The one who doesn't have deen doesn't. This is the one who doesn't have haya is the one who doesn't have deen. La haya liman la deen. So if you want to see someone has deen or not, see if they have haya or not. If they're modest, if they're observing chastity or not. When in the khutbah, Amir Umar is talking about manhud from him, talking about pious people, وَأَنفُسَهُمْ عَفِيفًا. The soul of these people, the nafs of these people are so afif and chaste. They control themselves, they observe, they know what they're doing. A man who is not chaste, we'll talk about what do we mean. That means in behavior, in conducting himself, in the way that they look around, the way that they talk to people. He doesn't have chastity. The way he dressed because it's to my house, should know definitely that is affecting his soul and his many aspects of his life. Specifically, as I said, chastity for everyone. Chastity in the way that we talk to others, haya. Chastity in using certain words, I'm going to categorize it later for you. Chastity in, okay, I know I have issue with someone, but there should be haya and there should be, effort in certain point that I shouldn't trust that man. And it's specifically for women, this is more related. In dua Imam of Imam Zaman alayhi salatu wassalam, very interesting. Allahumma arzuqni tawfiq at-ta'ah wa bu'dan ma'siyah. Ya Allah, give us the tawfiq of ta'ah, worship and getting away from ma'siyah. It comes all the way. وَعَلَى النِّسَاءِ بِالْحَيَاءِ وَالْعِفَّةِ. And specifically, we want you to help us, a woman, to have chastity and modesty. Haya and iffah. In the dua, you're asking this. Why in Islam is so important for our... some rules and rulings we have in Islam about relationship between men and women. For one woman specifically, they should have certain clothing, the way that they should dress, the way they should present themselves. Very interesting. The more important something is, the more you protect that. The more sensitive is that things, the more you protect it. A gardener who spent a lot of time to make that beautiful garden, and the more expensive flower he has or she has, the more they're careful to make sure everything is fine. They don't let anyone just bypass and just, let me touch the flower to say, no, this is very delicate, it's very sensitive. You can't touch it. Right? When you have something expensive, something important, you just leave it outside so that everyone can come and look at it, right? You keep it safe because it's important. You heard about this examples a lot. In the middle of the ocean, there's a shell and pearl, right? It's always protected by it because that's expensive. If you can get diamond easily, just dig the ground right now here, inshallah, we'll get some diamonds here. That was very cheap because it's hard to be achieved. That's expensive. I always say, to men and women, boys and girls that want to get married, it says, don't reveal everything so quickly. Specifically, I tell to girls, make it more difficult for him to work in order to achieve and to get you. Don't be so right there so that he's just come and ask you, that's it, Make it that he even psychologically, he put effort in order to come and ask and try and something. I did something, it's expensive. I went to ask for her and it was not just right there, Bismillah, come and get it. It's expensive, I had to go, I had to prove, I had to ask, I have to convince them that, I'm a good person. I'm talking about the man. Should go and convince them this is this. So he knows the importance of what he's going to gain. One of the reasons behind, for example, philosophy behind mahr and mahriya, dowry in Islam, is that you can't just enter and leave whenever you want. There should be some limits. There should be some respect here. Anyhow, this is one of the important things that we see that based on the role of men and women in the society, the topic and the power that they have in the society. The topic of chastity and modesty changes. It's for both this group, men and women, both gender, but sometimes it's more or less, based on the role and the power that these two groups they play in the society. But if you want to go to the details, that chastity and modesty in what? You might just think about appearance, so when you go out, you have to somehow look modest. We have 5 different categories for haya and arfa. Very interesting. They have been emphasized according to Islam and our traditions. Number 1, iffat of batn. Iffat of batn. Batn is what? Stomach. You have to observe that. It's haya and chastity of the stomach. Yes, it's yours, but you can't put whatever comes to it, right? You have to observe this. You have to know what you want to eat. Manabul from Imam Sajjad alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. It's amazing hadith, look at this. Ma min shay'in ahabbu ila Allah ba'da al-ma'rifah. After the ma'rifah of Allah. The knowledge about Allah, the ma'rifah of Allah. After ma'rifah of Allah, nothing is more dear to Allah than min iffat batn wa farj. Min iffat of stomach and private. Nothing is dear to Allah after his ma'rifah of batn and the private. Important. Because you know what? Some people make a mistake. Your physical parts, your body, are directly related to your souls. They are the gates to your souls. Your eyes are the gates towards your soul. Your ears are the gates towards your souls. Mouth eating directly affects your souls. Some people think, what do you mean I just listen to this, I just look at that? You don't understand. Allah created us this way. Whatever you bring data in, that would affect the system and process. The computer is the same thing, right? You put some data in, the process will be changed based on what you give to the system. If it has a virus, that would affect the whole system. These are all the entrance. While you look at something, why in Ramadan, Rasulullah manqul from him, he emphasized on you should control your eyes, you should control your ears. Rasulullah, shaitan is in chain. Why are you bothering us? Why shaitan is in chain? What do you want? Shaitan is in change. External issues in church. But these entrances are still there. They affect your soul. Sometimes you see that you want to say, I'm so tired and lazy. I don't know. Well, where did this come from? Then why another time you're so passionate about Bismillah as soon as you say Azan, let's go. Sometimes you want to come to the masjid, you're like, let's go. Sometimes you're so down, you don't want to do it. Is it maybe because of certain things? Maybe, right? Hadith, man akala luqmata haram lam tuqbal lahu salat 40 layla. One luqma, one bite of haram purposely. if someone takes for 40 days the dua of that, the salat of that person will not be accepted. Purposely. What do you mean purposely? Allah says don't, I'm like, yes, I want to do it. You're so lucky, it says only for 40 days. Right? Imagine the father comes and says, son, don't do it, and the son stands up, do it. This is worse than what he's doing, right? Disobedience is more disrespectful than what you actually did. Allah says control for you. What is it? Disobeying. The major progress of Anbiya and Awliya is what? Is that they control themselves in front of Allah. They're humble. It's not about what it smells, how it looks like. But you know, Ya Allah, let's do something, inshallah, and so and so. Your stomach is directly connected to your what? To your soul. You don't know how many hadiths you have about this. Remember the story of Shaykh Sana'a, I told you? Do you remember? It was about one of the greatest scholars of Bani Israel, that he had many students and he was, teaching them, and one day one Christian girl, he fell in love with a Christian girl, remember? You're going to make sure you remember, otherwise you're not going to say anything more. Right? If you're going to forget, why you should say it?
No.
You remember? See, mashallah, young person here, mashallah, remember. Salawat for all of them. Three greatest scholars, mashallah, blah, blah, blah. So he fell in love with what? It was Muslim actually, not that time, Bani Israel. He fell in love with a Christian girl he saw. Oh, after him. Then she told him, she was very, naughty in this way, that she said, if you want to, again, marry me or something, first you have to drink alcohol, and then you have to go burn Quran, and then you should leave Islam as well. This guy has many students coming there. Allah Arif is coming, Bismillah, Salawat is coming inside. He's like, the last two I'm not going to do them. The last two, Quran, burning Quran, and Islam, no, I'm not going to do it. But the first one I'll do it. The first one. He drank something, and he did the other two as well. That affected him. It affected the whole system, right? Once the computer is messed up, you can't do everything, right? When the system is virus affected the system, everything can happen, right? Al-ibadatu ma akli al-haram kal-bana'i ala-al-rami. Ibadah, you worship ma akli al-haram. You purposely eat haram. It's like you're building a beautiful house, imara, on pebbles, on the beach sand. It will collapse. Very easy. Say it. Another proof. Do you have it? Like tangible proof. I know you know about that proof. Tell me, what is it? That Mal Haram did something to them. What did Imam Hussein say? فَقَدْ مُلَعَتْ بُطُونُكُمْ مِنَ الْحَرَامِ. Imam Hussein, not say that he Imam Hussein, that one word of Imam, breathing somewhere would affect the whole society, right? We would just wish, sometimes we go to ulama or afal manazir, just want to breathe the same air that he's breathing. Right? Be just next to him. Imam Hussein, the Hujjat of Allah, he's guiding them, he's teaching them, he's giving lectures to them. It's not affecting. It's not affecting. Bismillah. Some people said, speeches should be this way. Sometimes go look at the layers of your nafs and your heart and your soul. It's not all about the speech. It's about the layers. Doesn't matter if dislike, no dislike. Even the sun is its light, sun. If there is a thick curtain in front of the window, you're not going to get even this much. It's not the fault of the light. It's that you are covering. Imam Hussein, he's giving lectures, not working. You almost said, what's going on? We know that everything is perfect on your side. Why is it not effective? Imam says, you know what is the reason? Your stomachs are full of haram. That's why the word of Hussein doesn't affect you. If it's so dangerous, we should be more sensitive. We should be more ihtiyat. We should be more careful. Remember, We said that before. We don't want to be certain regular Muslim. That sometimes selectively we pray, inshallah, we're so good, we pray, alhamdulillah, and then one day we'll in front of Allah, what did you do? What do you have? Praying sometimes, alhamdulillah, and fasting, and that's it. We wish you were go to the next level, and next level, you're improving yourself, not just stay with the minimum all the time. Huh? If you want to be praised as Muslim, wherever you are, in a company you're working, look for promotion. Go higher. Don't stay in one place. Try to be different. Well, Islamically, don't violate the rights of others, right? But try to be the best. In akhlaq, in manner, in aspects. If you're students, be the best students. We're talking about this. Be the best students possible. Why? Because your name is Ali Muhammad Zahra Fatima. Because you have everything to be the best. Right? If you want to be healthy, be the perfect healthy person. Please go, go to the gym or work out or something to be healthy. We have Brothers Pike, right? Be healthy. If you want to be mu'min, be a good mu'min. If you want to be a father, be a good father. If you want to be a resident of your society, be the best resident of your society. So when people look at you, mashallah, he's the CEO of this company, but mashallah, when it's the salat time, he leaves everything, goes pray. That's what we need. Muta'ahid, mutakhassis. Muta'ahid means the one who has ta'ahud, who has commitment to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Mutakhassis, speciality that he or she has. We need these two together. We don't need some naive, uneducated youth that are mu'min. Keep it for yourself, we don't need it. On the other side, we don't need some PhD guy who doesn't have iman. We have a lot of them. Right? One of the aspects that Imam is introducing in this topic, which inshallah will continue, we have many other aspects of this, is this aspects of what? Controlling what you're putting in your son. في حلالها حساب. في حلالها حساب. What the money that you make and earn. In the halal money that you make, they will stop you and ask you, where did you get that from? How did you spend it? ففي حرامها إقام. Haram is punishment. You want to have the pure generation. What sometimes say the generation of ulama, sometimes say Allama Majlisi, and his son is Allama Majlisi, and his son is Allama so and so. Look at the generation. Look, they kept this bats and they kept this womb all pure from these things, right? You heard maybe the name Muhammad Hussein Tabatabai. He was 4 years old, 5 years old, he memorized the whole Quran. The whole Quran, he was American. They were bringing him in, YouTube, you can find it, They were bringing him in front of the Wahhabis, they're testing him. He was opening the Quran, he was like, page so and so, ayah so, Bismillah ar-Rahman. And so they were testing him many times. Al-Azhar gave him honorary PhD. Honorary PhD, amazing. Like 4 years or 5 years old. Now, mashallah, he is a scholar. Right? So one of the things that his father was explaining, what they did was like, we did not accept anything from others, where they were pregnant before as well. We were very careful. What we are eating, and then what he is eating, and where we are eating. They do some difficult things that the son becomes like this, Not that if you don't just be careful with your eating, your son is going to come this way, but this is one of the greatest things, that they were careful how the interactions and these aspects, that they control this. So therefore, one of the most important things, let me finish with this beautiful story, that how we can control ourselves, and our leaders show us how to control ourselves. Your master, Mawla Amir al-Mu'minin Imam alayhi salatu wassalam, he was passing a bazaar, Medina or Kufa, I don't know. A butcher, he saw Amir al-Mu'min walking. He said, Ya Ali, come back. And he was, I think at that time that he was, it should be in Kufa when he was a caliph, I believe. Then he says, come to me. So Maulana, I just had, started an animal, very fresh meat, mashallah, is ready, I'm going to give you the best one. Amir looked at him and says, well, I don't have money. Amir doesn't have money. look at the who ask for money. That's not funny. Did they ask for money? Inshallah, later, whenever you have it. Oh, he said something amazing. He said, why should I tell you to wait? I tell my stomach to wait. What if I leave right now? And that's my end of my life. I have a Quran of my grandfather, and I didn't visit, never son, see him, he passed away before I was born. He was the greatest scholar in Mashhad. I had it was Quran, no, it was not Quran, it was a book, or a notebook he had. One day I opened it and saw he wrote down, Do Toman, 2 Toman currency. 2 Toman, Sheikh Abbas, for example. 3 Toman, Sheikh Muhammad. 4 Toman is the currency, right? 4 Riyal, for example, Hassan. He kept writing how much money he has to pay who. He kept the note for himself. So either he will pay for it, even if something happened to him, at least his family have the record. When someone comes and says, your father took this much money, you don't say, no, your father, who's your father, How they were careful about these things, that we have to follow the same path, that inshallah, do the same thing, be more careful. This aspect, as Allah made al-Mu'min, why should I tell you to wait? I'll tell myself to wait. Why should I? This is all the thing. Nothing wrong, Your Honor, you can get it. He's training his nafs. He's controlling himself in order to always, he orders his nafs. He orders his mind. Not the mind orders him, not the desires orders him. As I always say, when you have this much control over yourself, no depression, no anxiety, no phobia, no issue comes to you. Because your mind want to tell you be negative, you have control to tell your mind, please be quiet, I'm going to be positive. Opposite side, your mind tells you be negative, and you're like, no, I can't. Yeah, you're right, so I have to be negative. Right? Controlling yourself in salat and namaz, the same thing. You tell yourself, focus on your salat. You're capturing control, right? Therefore, when issues coming to you, you are controlling your nafs and yourself, and you don't let this mind to go like a wild horse. It says, I want to take you here, I want to take you there. That's what Ahlul Bayt. With the most difficult tragedies, they have never been in any psychological or mental problem. Why? Because they have control over their mind. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma ajjal waliyaka al-faraj, rafiyata wal-nas, wa dafi umri al-sharif. وزين الأرض بطول بقائه واجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره وشيعته. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, hasten in the word of our Imam al-Mahdi. Ya Allah, give us tawfiq to be among the true followers of our Imam. Give all our brothers and sisters iffah and haya. Give our youth specifically, boys and girls, iffah and haya. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, those who have hajat, give them khair hajat. Those who are under difficulties, brothers and sisters in Yemen, Bahrain, Syria, Palestine, all around the world, provide opportunities for their freedom. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, those who are sick, cure them, and those who passed away, send the thawab out of this majlis to the soul. Rahimallahu man yaqra al-Fatihah and as-salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa
Bismillah ar-Rahman, brothers and sisters. Tonight iftar is sponsored by Brother Ahsan Kazmi, Sister Maniba Kazmi, Brother Zaki Bangish,